Namaskar students. In this video we are going to start the new topic, that is mathematical modeling of physical system. I am Hiren Kirala from Gyan Manjari Institute of Technology, Bhavnagar. Currently I am working as assistant professor in electrical engineering department. So let's get started. So in this video basically we are talking about the introduction of mathematical modeling of physical system. Then we are going to discuss different differential equation of physical system, either it is a mechanical system, electrical, hydraulic, pneumatic, any kind of system we can mathematically model with using differential equation. Then we are going to understand what is Laplace transform and application of Laplace transform, and we are going to take some example and try to find out the mathematical modeling of some electrical and mechanical system and try to find out the analogy between mechanical and electrical system. The transfer function part will cover in next video. So let's get started. So what is mathematical modeling of any system? So as far as analysis and design of control system is concerned, a mathematical description of system is formulated. Okay, so the process of obtaining the desired mathematical description of the system is generally known as a modeling of the system. Now to obtain the mathematical model, it is required to analyze the relationship between the system variables, because the system variables are dynamic in nature. So the descriptive equation are generally differential equation. Okay, so that we will discuss about some physical system. Now what is Laplace transform? So Laplace transform are used to simplify the method of solution, because the solution of differential equation is very much complex, but we can convert a time domain signal into phase domain using Laplace transformation. So a differential equation can be converted into linear equation, and solution of linear equation can be found out very easily. Okay, so Laplace transformation we are using only to simplify the method of solution. Now the differential equation of physical system. So a dynamic performance of physical system described by differential equation are obtained by applying some physical laws of the process. So the approach of applied equally to every system like mechanical, electrical, thermodynamic system. Here you can see an ideal element is shown in the figure, and something is going through the system and something is going across the system. So we have to understand two things. One is through variable and another one is across variable. So what is this thing? So through variable which sort of passes through an element so as the same value in at one port and out at other. For example, we talking about a current through an electric resistor. So through variable means, let us take an example of a resistor, and it has, as per the definition we can say, it has two port. It will enter at one point and it will leave from one port. The value of the through variable is not going to change. Okay, so for example, the current through resistor is nothing but the through variable. Across variable which amperes across the two terminal of the element. For example, the voltage across an electrical resistor. So if we want to measure the voltage, it will be VR, and that will generally measure across the resistor. So this is the across variable and this is through variable. Okay, one another thing is input variable, and that is generally independent variable, and output variable which is dependent variable. Output is generally depends on the value of input. You can see that the VO is the function of Vi. So if we change the value of Vi, the value of VO will get changed. Okay, so input variable and output variable is easily understandable. Now the comparison of through and across variable for a physical system. So here we have taken the example of electrical system and mechanical system. In mechanical specifically we can say the translation system, not the rotational system. So in electrical, generally the variable through element is current, but integrated through element is charge. So if we are talking about current, there is charge will be passing from one into another end. Okay, so rate of change of charge is nothing but the current. I is equal to dq by dt. So integrated through the element will be charge, but we are talking about a variable that is only current. So current is nothing but the rate of change of charge, and the variable across the element will be voltage difference. So in case of resistance, the voltage at this point V1 and voltage at this point V2 both will be different. So there will be some voltage difference between this point, that is V21, and it is given by V2 minus V1 by assuming that the current is passing in this direction. Okay, now the integrated across element, it will be flux linkage lambda 21. Okay, now this is all about electrical system. Now for mechanical translation system, variable through element is generally force. So let us take an example of an element. Let's say this is a object having a mass m. We are applying a force F in this direction. So the variable which is going through this element will be force, and force can be represented by, force on a mass can be represented by mass into acceleration, where acceleration is equal to dv by dt, rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Okay, and velocity is nothing but dx by dt. So we can write d square x by dt square. So we can write acceleration as a, or we can also represent it as p, that is translation momentum. And if I apply the force at this mass, in that case there will be some velocity of a point. Here it is v1, here it is v2. So there is a change in velocity that is represented by v21, which is the variable across this element m, and due to that there will be some displacement. Before there will be some position of mass, that is x1. After there will be some displacement, and that is, let's say, x2. So the total displacement will be x2 minus x1 due to this force F, and that can be represented by, here it is y used. So let's we use y1 and y2. In that case it will be y21. So I hope it is clear that what is the variable through and variable across any element. Okay, so here we have understand this concept with using some of the example of electrical and mechanical system. Now let us take a summary of a differential equation for ideal element. We are not going to derive all this equation because it is already covered in your previous semesters. So although we are going to understand each and everything, but we are not going to derive this equation. Let us take an example of element which is an inductive storage element, and as far as electrical inductance is concerned, so let us take an inductance. Okay, the current through this inductor is given by I, and the voltage across this inductance, let's say it is V21. So if you want to find a value of V21, it is nothing but L di by dt. Okay, the value of inductor multiplied by the rate of change of current, that will be your voltage across inductor. If you want to find the energy stored in this inductor, it will be 1 by 2 Li square. Okay, you can see right here. Same for spring. It is if you want to find the energy, then it will be 1 by 2 F square by K. So spring is nothing but, if you want to find, let's say here it is the spring. Generally it is represented as K, spring constant, that is K. If we are applying force at that point, that is F, due to that the displacement at this point is x1, this point is x2, then we can represent it force F is equal to K multiplied by x2 minus x1. Okay, same way you can find for rotational spring and fluid inertia. Don't worry about this, just remember for inductance for right now. Okay, the second is capacitive storage. You already know what is the current through capacitor. So here we can see capacitor C is connected, voltage at this point is V2, voltage at this point is V1. If you want to find current through the capacitor, it will be I is equal to C dV2 by dt. If you want to find the value of voltage, you have to take the integration. Okay, so if you want to find voltage from this equation, it is nothing but if you simplify this equation, it will be I dt is equal to C dV2 1. Now take integration, so it will be integration I dt plus is equal to C is constant, so the C, and integration of dV21 will be V21. Okay, so V21 will be 1 divided by C integration I dt, that is nothing but your V21. We are assuming that initially capacitor is not charged, that is why the proportionality constant is the integration constant is 0. Okay, so V21 is nothing but 1 upon C integration I dt. Okay, same way you can find the force equation of force. If you are applying force at this mass, then velocity, here it is V1, here it is V2, so force will be m into a, or we can say dV2 by dt. Okay, there is nothing but your acceleration a, and energy store will be 1/2 mv square. Same way you can find for resistor, that is V is equal to I multiplied by R, that is Ohm's law. Okay, you can see the voltage, this is across element, that is voltage drop V21, and through element is current I. Same way you can find for mechanical, that is equivalent damper. Damper is nothing but a kind of friction that we are going to equivalent representation of friction is damper. So there are three types of friction. One is viscous friction, another one is Coulomb friction, and third one is static friction. All these three frictions are different. So what is Coulomb friction? So this is the force of sliding friction between the dry surface. Okay. What is static friction? So the force required to start the motion between two surfaces in contact, it's said to be a static friction. And here it is the representation of viscous friction, that is the force of friction between the two moving surface separated by a fluid, or that the between solid body and fluid medium is generally called the viscous friction. So neglecting the other types of friction, the viscous friction which will be dominant in most of the physical system, and that is why the viscous friction is assumed to be linear and has the frictional constant. Okay, and this is damping or viscous friction. Here we have represented with a B. Sometimes it is also represented as F, and it is characterized the mechanical element that absorb the energy. Okay, so this is all about your representation of differential equation of electrical and mechanical system. Now whenever we are going to model any mechanical system, we have to deal with differential equation and then differential equation converted into algebraic equation using the Laplace transformation. Okay, so what is Laplace transformation? So Laplace transformation is the process of changing the function for particular quantity, that is f of t, from the function of time into the complex function f of x of complex operator s is known as Laplace transformation. So if you want to find the Laplace transformation of any function, you can just put the value of f of t into this equation and just integrate this function and you will get the Laplace transform of particular function. Now the ability to obtain the linear approximation of linear physical system allows to consider the use of Laplace transform. So here you can see that the first system is generally described in time domain by using general differential equation. So this is the step-by-step process to find the solution of any physical system. So let's say we are having a physical system, let's say a mechanical system, and we want to mathematically model this system. So first we want to find the differential equation, and that is the time domain differential equation. We have to transform that equation into a frequency domain, and that is algebraic equation. Here first it will be differential equation. So Laplace transformation will convert differential equation into algebraic equation. Then easily we can find the solution because now the solution becomes easy as the algebraic equation is come into the picture. So after solution getting in frequency domain analysis, we can again transform into time domain analysis. Okay, so let us take some of the basics example of Laplace transformation that we are going to use whenever it is necessary. Let's say the function is 1 and the Laplace transformation of 1 is nothing but 1 upon s. So just put the value of a function, your function, into this equation. So let's say that f of t is equal to 1. So as for our first example, the function is 1 and the Laplace transformation of this function is 1 upon s. So let us just find out. So if you put f of t is equal to 1, then it will be e raised to minus st only. And if you put the value, then integration it will be 0 to infinite e raised to minus st multiplied by dt. If you take the integration, it will be 1 upon t and minus 0 to infinite. And if you put the value 0 and infinite into this, you will get the value that is 1 upon s. Same way you can find for e raised to at, then it will be 1 divided by s minus a. If you find for t raised to n, it will be n factorial divided by s raised to n plus 1. So we are not going to find Laplace transformation of each and everything because this is the different subject, but for this course I am assuming that you can able to find the Laplace transformation of all these things. Okay, this is very simple thing, and at this point you should have to remember that the Laplace transform of cos at is s divided by s square plus s square. In case of sin at, the only thing is difference is in place of s, now it is a divided by s square plus a square. If it is hyperbolic term, that is cos hyperbolic at, in that case the sign will be different right here. Okay, in case of sine, the only thing is your numerator is different. Same way, your if e raised to exponential term will be in multiplication of cos bt, then this kind of behavior will be same, but only thing will come into the picture that s minus a. So in place of s, here it will be s minus a. Same for e raised to at sin bt. So here b and sin a minus a. Okay, and same way you can find t raised to n multiplied by e raised to at, that is n factorial. S minus a will come here. Here only s will be there, but now s minus a in case of t raised to n multiplied by e raised to at. So this Laplace transformation I'll ask you to understand and try to find all these things and try to remember all these functions and their Laplace transformation, because whenever it is required you have to directly put the value of cos at and sin at or sin hyperbolic at and cos hyperbolic at. We are not going to find it each and every time. Okay, so you have to remember all these things. Now let us mathematically model our physical system, that is our today's topic. As far as a mechanical system is concerned, so there are three fundamental passive elements which are characterized as a linear mechanical translation system, and these three elements are mass, spring and friction. So let us first understand what is mass. So if you consider any example, let's say an example of a car. You are pulling a car. Now car has his own mass and it is distributed throughout the area of the car, but we are assuming that it is not the distributed parameter, but we are assuming that it is lumped parameter, that the mass of car is lumped at any point. Okay, and we are assuming that I am giving a force that is F in this direction. Okay, this is nothing but, let's assume that is a car and we are giving force into this direction, and that is why there will be some displacement in this forward direction x, okay, due to this force. So if you want to find the value of force, that will be your mass multiplied by acceleration. Here you can see that is x double dot. X double dot is nothing but m multiplied by d square x by dt square. Okay, so x double dot is nothing but your second derivative of x. So we can represent your acceleration as dv by dt, and also you can represent velocity as dx by dt. So if you put the value of v into this equation, it will be d square x by dt, and that is here the m dot d square x by dt square. So whenever you apply force to any mass and you are wish to find the total force, then it will be m d square x by dt square in case of mass. Now let us talk about spring element. Okay, before that let me first go through the friction and then we'll discuss about spring. So what is friction? There already we have discussed there are three kind of friction will be there: the Coulomb friction, the static friction and viscous friction. But whatever we are modeling right here is your viscous friction, that can be represented as friction or damper. Sometimes it is also called damper. Now here we have represented as B, but sometime also you might see that some book use the denotation as F. Okay. Now despite of mass, that your damper has two displacement, that is x1 and x2. Here you can see only one displacement is x is there. In case of a damper or friction, there will be two displacement x1 and x2 at both the terminal of damper. So whenever you apply force at F1 at this terminal and F2 at this terminal, and you want to find the total force F, then you can find total force F is equal to B multiplied by dx2 by dt minus dx1 by dt, that is the total force F due to damper B FB. Okay, here you can see the same thing. The x dx2 by dt can be represented as x2 dot, and this can be represented as x1 dot. Okay, same way your spring element also have the two displacement. If this and is fixed, in that case there will be one displacement only, but here you can see that this and is not fixed, so this spring has two displacement x1 and x2, and the coefficient of spring is k, and if you apply force at both the terminal, and in that case your a total force F will be the spring coefficient K multiplied by the displacement, that is x2 minus x1. So all of you have to remember at this point is the formula of force due to mass element, that is m d square x by dt square, due to damper element, that is b dx by dt. If only one displacement is there, then in that case it will be dx by dt, b into dx by dt. If two displacement will be there, in that case it will represented as b multiplied by x2 dot minus x1 dot. Same way for a spring element, you have to remember that force is equal to k multiplied by x. Okay, so for if one element it is only k multiplied by x, but when two displacement will be there, in that case x2 minus x1. So these three formula are very important for you whenever we mathematically model any mechanical system. In that case we are going to use these three formulas. Okay, so just keep these three formulas in mind. Now let us move to next topic, that is modeling of electrical system. Oh, I'm sorry, let me just go backward right here. Okay, so there are three fundamental passive elements as far as electrical system is concerned, that is resistor, inductor and capacitor. Now this figure is taken from the John Williams and Sons, and this is an excellent book for control system engineering. You might I may refer you to read this book. Now let us discuss about capacitor, resistor and inductor one by one. Let us first discuss about a resistor. So voltage across a resistor is generally, that is V is equal to IR, Ohm's law. If you want to find current, then it will be V divided by R. R will be into the denominator. If you want to represent it in terms of a charge, a rate of change of charge, then I can be represented as dq by dt. In that case Vt is equal to R dq by dt. Okay, so impedance in that case will be R and admittance will be 1 upon R, that is your G. In case of inductor, the voltage across inductor, it is V is equal to L di by dt. If you want to find current, take the integration both the side and you will get I is equal to 1 upon L integration V into dt. Okay, if you want to represent this term into charge, then it will be L d square q by dt square. Okay, now you can find out the Laplace transform of this term, that is if you want to find Laplace transform of this equation, it can be written as the V of S is equal to, L is constant, so take it as constant, d square qt by dt square, that is S square q of S. That is the Laplace transform of this equation. Here keep one thing in mind, that is we are assuming the initial condition 0, that is why we are neglecting the remaining term into this equation. Okay, so whenever we are going to deal with linear passive elements, either it is inductor or capacitor, or your in mechanical system it will be damper or friction or spring element. In that case we are assuming that your element is not initially charged, that is why we are assuming initial condition as 0. So your voltage equation of Laplace transformation will be L multiplied by S square q of S. Okay, so if you want to find out the impedance, it will be L multiplied by S, and admittance will be 1 divided by Ls. Same way you can find capacitor voltage and capacitor current and capacitor voltage in the term of qt by C. So we know that q is equal to V is equal to q by C, or we can say q is equal to CV. Okay, so you can also find impedance and admittance in terms of capacitor. So you have to remember this voltage and current formulas, and that will be important in case of to find out the analogous system, which is the correlationship between mechanical system and electrical system that we are going to study now. Okay, so keep these formulas in your mind, and let us discuss the analogous system. So what is analogous system? So in electrical and mechanical system, there is fixed analogy and there is some similarity between their equilibrium equations. So we can draw an electrical system which will act same like given mechanical system, and this can be called electrical analogous of given mechanical system. Okay, so the main two analogous systems are force voltage analogy and the second is force current analogy. Also we can call force voltage analogy as direct analogy and force current analogy as inverse analogy. You can also represent force voltage analogy as FV analogy and FI analogy. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. Let us first discuss force voltage analogy or the direct analogy. Now consider a mechanical system that is given which have the element mass, damper and spring. When we apply force at this point in this direction, due to that the displacement will happen is x, and we want to find the total force F due to all this particular element mass, damper and spring. So the total force F will be force due to mass element plus force due to damper element plus force due to spring element. So first force due to mass element will be, here we have used y, displacement y, here we have displacement x, so just change y with x, it will be same thing, don't worry, x is equal to y. Okay, so force due to mass element will be recall this equation. Here force due to mass element is nothing but m into d square x by dt square. So put this equation right here. So force due to mass is nothing but m d square x by dt square d square y by dt square. So this is nothing but force due to mass element. Force due to damper element will be, so F multiply by dy by dt. Here you can see that your force due to damper element is nothing but B multiply by dx by dt. So in place of B, here we are using F, and that is why it is F multiply by dy by dt. For spring, force due to spring element is nothing but spring constant k multiply by displacement x. Here it is y, that is why k into y. So you can easily find the total force due to this mechanical system. Here you can see one end is fixed, so we don't have to worry about the second displacement. So the total force will be F of t is equal to m d square y by dt square plus f dy by dt plus k into y. This is for a mechanical system given right here. Now we are going to find the force voltage analogy. It means that we are going to find the mechanical system and electrical system correlation. So let us consider a series RLC circuit which is given by a supply voltage V right here. In that case, circuit current is I and voltage across resistor is VR, voltage across inductor is VL and voltage across capacitor is VC. Now if we are interested to find the total voltage V, that is given by VR plus VL plus VC. So total voltage is nothing but the voltage drop across a resistor, voltage drop across inductor and voltage drop across capacitor. Now voltage drop across inductor is I multiply by R. Voltage drop across inductor will be, there is resistor VR is equal to I into R. Voltage drop across inductor, that is VL, and that can be given by L di by dt. Okay, this is nothing but L di by dt. So if you just remember all this equation of voltage across inductor, capacitor, current through inductor, current through capacitor, then this is very easy. And what will be the voltage across capacitor? It will be 1 upon C integration I dt. Okay, so total voltage will be IR plus L di by dt plus 1 upon C integration I dt. Now we may know that current I is nothing but the rate of change of charge, that is dq by dt. So now put the value of I into this equation, that I will be, if you put I, then it will be dq by dt multiply by R plus L di by dt. So in place of di by dt, so here we have to put the value of I. So if you put I right here, then it will be d square q by dt. Okay, it will be d square q by dt square plus 1 upon C constant. Put I right here, so I is dq by dt. If you take integration of dq by dt and with respect to dt, so it will look something like this. The dt will be cancelled. Integration of dq will give you q. So it is q only. This equation you can see right here, dq by dt into R, L d square q by dt square plus q by C. Okay, this will be the total voltage V of t in terms of your charge q. Okay, now let me rewrite this equation, that f of t, that is force, total force for mechanical system, and total voltage for electrical system. Then from both these equation, now try to compare both this equation. So if we compare both this equation, we can see that your applied force f of t is analogous to applied voltage V of t. So you can see that left hand side is f of t and here it is V of t. So your applied force in case of mechanical system is analogous to applied voltage. This is all for force voltage analogy. Okay, same way you can see the second differential equation, that is d square q by dt square. Here it is d square y by dt square, and coefficient of second differential term is here, it is m. In this equation it is L. So your mass is analogous to inductance L. Okay, same way here first order differential equation, here first order differential equation, here coefficient is R, here it is F. So your viscous friction or damper is analogous to R, resistor. Same way for Q, you can see it is 1 upon C right here, here it is Q. So your spring deflection constant K is analogous to the reciprocal of capacitance, not the capacitance but the reciprocals of capacitance. And last but not the least, your charge Q, here the variable is charge. In case of mechanical system, the variable is a displacement. That is why your displacement Y is analogous to electric charge Q. Okay, so this is what the force voltage analogy. You can see the f of t is equal to Vt, m is equal to L, f is equal to R, k is equal to 1 upon C, and y is equal to q. Same way you can find for force current analogy. The same thing, same procedure will be followed. You can see the same mechanical system, but in case of force current analogy we are going to deal with parallel RLC circuit. So I don't have to explain this equation again. If you wish, you can just go back and know how we can find out this equation. Here you can see that the total current in case of parallel RLC circuit is, if you apply Kirchhoff current law at this point, it will give you I total current is equal to IR plus IL plus IC. Okay, So total current I is equal to IR, current through R, current through L, and current through C. So current through I can be written as V by R. Current through inductor can be written as 1 upon L integration V dt, and current through capacitor can be written as C dV by dt. Now we know that V is equal to nothing but d phi by dt. Okay, so just put the value of V into this equation and you will get the total current I of t is equal to C d square phi by dt square plus 1 upon R d phi by dt plus phi by L. So just you have to put V is equal to d phi by dt into this equation. So if you put here the d phi by dt multiply by 1 upon R, here it is. If you take the integration of d phi by dt, in that case it will be phi by L. And here C dV by dt, if you put V right here in that case it will be d square phi by dt square. Again, let us correlate both this equation. You may notice that your applied force Ft is now analogous to current It. Your mass is analogous to your capacitance C. Viscous friction is analogous to the 1 divided by R, and spring constant K is analogous to a reciprocal of your inductance. Okay, here I have written capacitance, but it will be inductance only. Okay, I have made here mistake. And your displacement is y here, and here your variable is phi. So this is what your force current analogy. So thank you so much. This is all about today's lecture. In next video we are going to understand how to develop mechanical equivalent network. So this is very important as far as your mathematical modeling of any system and to finding the force voltage and force current equivalent circuitry of any mechanical system. And then we are going to study the transfer function and going to find the transfer function of mechanical system and electrical system. Thank you.